point, we notice how everything happening is happening for us, not to us. That is the big shift, um, marking the end of the chapter of victimization and feeling small and separate, and stepping into power, claiming our throne, so to speak, recognizing our true nature as the conscious creator. And with that realization comes a seeing that everything that ever happened, whether it's an argument with a fellow human or a spouse or the loss of a loved one or any difficult circumstance we have ever found ourselves in, has been happening for us in order for us to remember how to feel fully, how to let go of resistance. And by letting go of resistance, by just letting go, we are in fact letting go into our own arms, into that boundless ocean of love. And it is then that we recognize that there's this resistance has been in vain. It has been unnecessary. We have been innocently deluded, really fearing how vast and unconditionally loving and safe we truly are already, seeking and grasping outside of ourselves to find that which already is inside. And not only inside, inside is just like a portal. You can go inside, still your mind, find the background, the blue sky behind the clouds, find the space in between thoughts. There are many methods to touch that, which is not a thing, which is the essence of your being. But essentially, it is a path of remembering, of knowing ourselves more fully, knowing ourselves again, for this is a cyclic pattern. We forget so that we can know the sweet fruits, the sweet fragrance of catching ourselves again, of falling into our own arms and being reminded that we were safe all along. We were actually held and loved all this time in the greatest times of despair and pain and anguish and hurt and suffering. It was happening for us. On some level, we were choosing it so that we can have this experience of recognizing that it is only us. It's only we. It's only been you. There is no other force in the whole universe but you. We are all that, choosing to experience ourselves in this way as a billion observers, seemingly separate selves. And that's what's fun in this as well. Is it possible that a time will come when we live in a fully awakened society where we have all remembered our true nature? Possibly. I don't know. But I can also appreciate the beauty in living a life in half forgettance, only to remember ourselves. Maybe even in these specific times where a lot of us are waking up while still being embedded into the society that is deeply asleep. And as we begin, as this process of dissolving our past selves, all of our past beliefs that no longer serve us, for we are expanding back. It's an expansion back into the vastness of ourselves that we truly are. We are finding these solidifications, these frozen parts of ourselves that simply do not trust that yet. So there is an interesting moment along the path where perhaps conceptually we have already grasped that in fact there's nothing but us. And we might have had experiences, many of them, many glimpses, where we've actually touched that unconditional, boundless love. So we know the signature of it, and we know, perhaps we remember, if we can't find it in the present moment, just what that felt like. I mean, it's completely life altering. It's such a powerful remembrance of what is the substrate, what is the essence of everything that is. And it's an interesting point along the way where we know, and yet parts of us don't. Parts of us don't believe it. Parts of us simply do not trust that it is so. And so the lever, if you will, starts to slowly shift, right? From the, if you want to kind of measure the trust or belief or the letting go of old beliefs, if we start at 0% and it kind of grows all the way to 100, you will find yourself somewhere along this range until there is that total letting go, total dissolution into just what is. There is no longer any belief systems. For any belief system is in that moment experienced as a contraction around what you truly are, which is this boundless freedom. But somewhere along the way, you find yourself in this place where you kind of can remind yourself, perhaps conceptually, that, like, hold on, this is but a dream. There is nothing to be afraid of, for anything that you meet or anyone is a part of you, is part of the one big mind. And you can then get these glimpses of being infinitely loved and held and cared for. And yet, we're finding these solidifications that can quite often be somatically found in our body as tensions, contractions, that protest. They do not want to dissolve. So it's almost like they're afraid of that ecstasy, which is our true being, which is the ego dissolution. They are digging their heels in and they don't want to go. And a subtle nuance that can be overlooked is how this identification then shifts into the spiritual achiever that kind of takes out the whip and tries to whip these parts that don't trust into shape. It says, come on, guys, we know this by now. We know that we are that. There's no sense in holding on. Just let go. We will be much happier. There's bliss and ecstasy and love and safety waiting for us on the other side. Just stop. Stop being anxious. Stop managing. Stop doing and stop worrying. Just let go. And that is also not self. That is a part. That is a spiritual achiever part that really tries to push us. And that doesn't necessarily serve our parts that are afraid. What they need is unconditional love and holding and patience. And we know that love and patience, all these qualities are inherent to our true selves. So as we approach our parts from another part, this is the closest that we can get, right? However, as we become the space, we are infinitely more intimate with all of these parts, for we are the space. We are at zero distance away from the part. And we know ourselves at the space, so we let go of any ideas of having to do, manage, achieve, push, arrive. And at the same time, we're infinitely intimate with all of the parts of ourselves that are still living in fear, in pain, in suffering, in worry. And this loving presence is all, is and all, is all that these parts need and want. They slowly will begin to drink it in, and they too will learn to trust and dissolve until there's nothing left. And we abide as this awake space, as this presence, as this love. And this is a gradual process. where all of the parts of ourselves need to surface, longing to come back home, and yet it is a process. It happens apparently in time. And there is something I've always found it funny how essentially we're resisting that which we seek. These parts of ourselves, they do not trust nor believe that everything that is being sought from love and safety and abundance and joy and connection, that it's all there, like a loving parent extending his arms saying, come here, sit in my lap. And it's almost like it's too good to be true. So these parts say, no, I'm not gonna. That feels really scary. Because as part of this falling into, letting go, falling into the arms of the divine, well, there's exactly that. You have to release, you have to be ready to let go, you have to trust. It's sort of like, otherwise, if you're feeling tense in your body and you are letting somebody else hold you, your partner or a friend or whatever, that's not gonna feel comfortable. You're not gonna be able to, take a nap, fall asleep, um, if you're gonna let yourself be held by a stranger with whom you don't feel 100% comfortable. It really does take somebody that you trust, like a partner or a parent when you're a child, where you just surrender completely, 100% without reservation, without a worry, without any sign of anxiety or fear or managing or protecting. There is just a deep rest. And so sleep can take us. And so, similarly, on this path of awakening towards liberation, we are releasing. We're releasing all of those tensions until there is none left. And something else than sleep can take us. Awakeness, liberation, enlightenment, God, love sweeps us away. And all of this solidity that we've been taking for granted before suddenly is no more. We know ourselves as everything and everyone around us. There isn't necessarily a center to our experience. And with that, an immense amount of love and awe comes in as we begin to have a felt sense, not just conceptually, but like a true felt sense of being the totality of everything that everything is arising as part of ourselves. Not much unlike a dream at night. After waking up, you you know that everything that you dreamt of was a figment of your mind. The people that you met on the streets of London, you might have dreamt about being in London, meeting people, going out for drinks, getting on an airplane, bungee jumping, whatever. All of that, from the bungee rope to the airplane, to the stewardess, to your friends in that dream, were you. And so it is outside of the dream world in waking state reality, what we take her to be waking state reality. It's not much different. This is why you will hear so many teachers talk about waking up from the dream, because you wake up to the reality that there is indeed no separation. Everything is arising in the one mind, in God's mind. Call it whatever. And it is all appearing for you, not necessarily the small self you, but for the totality of which you are a part. And you are everything all at once. That's a paradox. That's a fractal. That's the hologram. How one piece contains the all. You're not just a small wave on the ocean. You are the entire ocean and the wave, which is an expression of that, which is otherwise expressionless. This totality wants to manifest, wants to come into form, and it comes into form as you and me and this camera that I'm speaking into. So you are that which is separate and that which is whole, all at the same time. There is no separation. There is not two. It is not one. It is many and one, but it is not two. Non-duality. That's all for today. I'm, as always, looking forward to your comments. Leave them below, and I'll see you in the next one.